check it out. So since we're playing a game for the first time, one thing I do like to do is I do like to cover any accessibility features. Now, to keep in mind, the absence of accessibility settings isn't inherently a bad sign, but it is something we do like to celebrate accessibility in our games, because there's a lot of games that are borderline unplayable because accessibility features like hyper-aggressive screen shake that you can't turn off. Take the diver. That, you know, that would be pretty cool if they had that. So we have different language support. Pretty wide range of languages, so that's pretty good. Apparently you can choose to have the text and audio languages different. With the audio languages, you got a much smaller selection, not surprised that I have to pay voice actors. You can change the subtitle size, which is always good. No camera shake removal equals not playing it. It blows my mind for how wildly successful Dave the Diver is and how many updates they continue to push that you still can't just turn off the screen shake. It's not that big a deal. Just let us turn it off. I know so many people enjoyed the game and then just had to bail because some of the areas, every time you hit it, the screen was going like this. And they were just like, can't do it, I'm just getting nauseous. We've got UI scaling up to 250%. That's pretty big. I'm going to leave it on default for now, or auto, because I haven't checked to see what's there. You can switch to having different colorblind modes that have emphasis on different colors. And I do appreciate that they have the severity. You can adjust it, so that should be the same. But if you have, like, turn up, which is, this is red-green color blindness. So it, you know, you'll start seeing that the reds and the greens, at a very high level, the red of the sails becomes almost a yellow. And then the ocean, instead going from kind of a teal, is going to a deep blue, so there's a high contrast there. So that's pretty cool. They've got gamma correction, so if it's just not bright enough. So lots of good accessibility. Graphics, pretty standard graphic stuff, nothing particularly accessibility-wise there. Sound, you can adjust it all. Hover sounds, I guess, if you care. UI, I do appreciate there's a lot there. Diagenetic music, what's that? Toggles music that is part of the game world, i.e. pirates singing shanties. Oh, well, of course I want that on. You can have the pause of the game when you leave window. Edge panning, that's an accessibility thing. That can mess with people with motion sickness and certain motor, what's the word I'm thinking of? Limited motor function. That could be a thing where they have different peripherals. You can turn off the camera shake. I'm going to leave it on for default. Usually it depends on how aggressive it is. If it's just a little bit of camera shake and all that, I'm down to keep it on. But when it's something like you're playing a survival crafter, and every time you hit a tree, this camera's just going like this, then it goes away. Alright, so lots of accessibility options. So we're going to go ahead and pop into the story mode, because I've never played before. And the vast majority of these kind of games, when you're dealing with city builders and all that, generally speaking, your story mode will introduce you to the mechanics and walk through, be like, here's the new unit, here's how you build a farm, here's how you do that. And then the Uncharted, or whatever their sandbox mode is, will usually be like, here's the game, just do it. Alright, so let's get in here.
The tides have changed. The age of pirates is nearing its grisly end. Crown rules supreme. Pirate hunters roam the seven seas. Hunters like Amara, that Spanish hound. Never thought I'd end up in her brig. She's a clever wench. I'll hand it to her. She made only one mistake. She threw me in with a solid crew of pirates. This might be worth a shot. Good thing I was able to hide this little beauty.
Alarm! The prisoners are free! Stop them! No pirate leaves this ship alive!
Swim for your lives, you sodden wretches! Look at us. Once mighty pirates all, lost, half drowned, and nothing but the skin on our backs. But we're still breathing, and that, my friends, is more than enough. Because all it takes is the right crew in the right place to turn the tides of fate back in our favor.
Yeah, no, the graphics are really solid. Yeah, so okay, pretty straightforward plot. Piracy is coming to an end. You know, they're putting down the privateers and all that. You get captured. You break out with the implausibility of the fact that you managed to like keep a big bomb on your person and not get caught with it. Like, what'd you do? Like, put in your boot and you just hobbled along? All right, would we like to play the tutorial? Yes, I've never played the game. Move the camera to the shipwreck.
Feast your eyes on this blighted rock, me mateys. It may be our home for the foreseeable future. Well then, let's start with the basics. We'll need shelter first of all. Camp and a few tents should do for now.
Why didn't the pirate hunter simply sail? Mostly the explosion that ripped a giant hole in the side of their ship that we jumped out of. I would assume the giant gaping hole in the side of their ship may have been mildly detrimental to their ability to not drown. Alright, so...
And if there's not enough room on the ground,
okay.
Well, why not build on the walls as well?
Alright. You found a shipwreck full of construction resources and an abandoned construction site. A fitting place for a pirate camp. Pirate camps are the central hubs of your island, and are needed to make other buildings function. Buildings start as a construction site. This icon means a construction site doesn't have a connection to the required construction materials. Connect the shipwreck to the construction site using a connector. Once the building is connected, it is under construction. You can speed up the game to change the process. So, a moment ago... Okay, so open the connections menu. Connector. Connector. I.e., they've walked on the beach a little bit and they've dug up the sand. It's clearly like the logic side behind the, you know, everything.
It appears we're not the first to be stranded here. Perhaps we'll find gold in these scattered wrecks.
I combed through them with the crew already. Anything we could find, we've gathered at our beach.
Alright, let's adjust the volumes a little bit. So I'm going to take the main volume up a bit. I'll take the sound effects down a little bit. And the music down a little bit. So I can hopefully hear the dialogue a little bit better. Alright. So we have cohesion. Okay, so cohesion is your do or die. If cohesion hits 0, game over.
Rotten wench, Amara. At least we sent her to the depths for good.
It takes more than that to kill a captain. We haven't seen the last of her. Mark my words.
Why are you dancing with the pig? What? Why are you dancing with the pig? Alright, your pirates need housing. Pirate camps provide only limited housing. So you'll need to build additional housing. Select your pirate camp and check your current housing. Okay. Alright. So we have 99% satisfaction, unkept, unsatisfied. Even the Tuskfist Pirates needs to rest. We have provided 25 housing, but we need 30. And so... yeah, so it's showing the upkeep and all that. So we go to construction, housing. Shove that over there. That provides housing for 2. So that means I need 3 tents to satisfy this. Also, real question. They swam for their lives. Where did all these pigs come from? Because pigs aren't exactly a mountainous terrain animal. And something tells me that a little bit of beach ain't cutting it. Especially with this probably being saltwater.
Our meager salvage won't last forever. We need to make more planks.
We have enough to build a ship. I say we leave as soon as that is done.
We'd be fools to let this chance slip us by. You'll see, Honorata. This is just the start.
Honorata? Okay. Alright, so the shipwreck will run out of construction resources soon. Your island offers plenty of resources. You'll need them to construct shipbuilding and maintaining your pirates' upkeep. You can check the overviews for more information. You'll be surprised at how well pigs survive in weird situations? No idea. Construction resources are used for buildings and ships. To make the most of those resources, you'll need to build a place to gather them. Open the construction menu and build a woodcutter. When you have a woodcutter selected, all fertile areas on your island will be highlighted. Certain buildings need to be built on fertile area, so they provide and produce resources. Okay, so we go and we grab you, woodcutter. We got a fertile area over there. Fertile areas up here. So, like, if I build you up here, can you even get up here? It's kind of what I figured. But had to test. Okay. So now I can connect this. Maybe. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I can build up here. Alright, clearly I'm missing some detail. Let's actually go through all the menus. Alright. When you have the woodcutter selected, all fertile areas on your island will be highlighted. Certain buildings need to be built on fertile area so they can produce resources. Place your woodcutter on a fertile area using that, and then connect it to the camp. All hands on deck lets you increase the production of a building by 50%. As a downside, it will double your workforce upkeep when active. Hardwood must be processed into planks before it can be used as a construction material. Build a sawmill and connect it to the woodcutter. Production buildings can process resources and be built anywhere. All they need is a pirate camp to access the required. Okay. So what I need to figure out is how to connect these things. So there's a bunch of fertile area up top. And it is loosely putting it here. So I think what I'm going to need to do... see, that's what I'm having problems figuring out, is how I connect it down below. Okay. So it's easier to connect from down to up. I see. They're trying to connect it from this area up here. What's causing problems? Production buildings have two types of pirates. Fetchers, fetches resources for buildings, and hands that actually do the work. Okay. These pirates are currently working on the building. The number shows how many resources are produced per minute. Produced resources are stored here until a fetcher picks them up. The drain is shown down below. Okay. So now you want me to build a sawmill. The whole being able to just, like, build it on the wall is pretty fun. And that did automatically connect because they were close enough. So you're going to have a bunch of pirate camps. Oh. Sail one of your ships to uncover the region. Stay in the area to keep it open. Okay. Alright, so you've got like a giant area of play. So I assume we're going to be like slowly taking over more and more islands and all that. I'm assuming the lack of food greatly upsetting our pirates is probably a mild to severe concern. Just the thought of like loading yourself up with a pile of wood and then climbing down this little rickety ladder and then just doing that all day back and forth amuses me greatly. Like, getting on this rickety ladder with a bunch of these big heavy logs. Oh, you're waiting for the wood to be delivered. That's fair. Where's the speed controls? Okay. I'm honestly worried about game overing before we get this done, because that is just crashing because I have no food. Alright. Oh. Stockpiling resources will help you optimize your production chains. Build a warehouse and connect it to the pirate camp. The stockpiling resources, select a warehouse from there. Once a ship wreck is empty, it only takes space. Let's demolish it. Alright. So, we need to make a warehouse. I'm greatly concerned that our happiness is just plummeting.
Good. Now let's empty our shipwreck and demolish it for more space.
Click on the plus to create connections. All right. I hope that's scripted that it bottoms out. Because I'm pretty sure I don't actually have access to the ability to resolve our food crisis.
The crew's uneasy. Something requires our attention.
Alright. Clear crew to check on cohesion. Cohesion shows how well your pirate community sticks together. You gain or lose cohesion in events and when you have to defend your island. If cohesion drops to 0, your community falls apart and you lose the game. Drifters and fetchers require housing. Hands require additional upkeep such as stew to stay satisfied. Campfires can produce stew for no cost. Their production is slow, but it'll do for now. A galley can distribute food to all pirates within the area of the pirate camp. Make sure there's enough stew that is delivered to the galley in your hands to stay satisfied. If upkeeps aren't met, satisfaction will drop until it reaches 0. This will trigger an outrage, and you'll have to choose how to resolve the situation. Success will restore order, but failure would reduce cohesion, and it'll make outrage worse. Okay, so we need to make... Yeah, I see... Oh, there's a prompt there. We discovered 2 of Amara's soldier hiding amongst our crew. They claim they were stranded here like us. We are about to slice their bellies open when they loudly renounce the crown and ask us to accept them as pirates. What should we do? So we can let them live, which will take away 30 cohesion all at once. Let's see, high values afford more leeway when pushing through setbacks. Spill their guts. I will lose 2 people, but I will take less of a penalty. I don't know the value of these things, so we're going to go ahead and let them live. They're crown castaways. We take the hapless fools at their word and welcome them to the crew. Many grumble and protest. They only see traitors in the making.
Tough times call for hard choices. A good crew sticks together through thick and thin. Lose that cohesion, and everything will fall apart.
Okay. So, campfire. So the campfire and the galley are going to happen. So I'm sticking as close as I can to there.
I'm starving. Is there nothing to eat on this uncivilized rock?
Where's that bloody pig? I'm in the mood for stew.
Hey Liam, how's it going? Alright, so we're gonna get that. So it looks like we have 21 drifters and 9 pirates are assigned to jobs. Okay, I see. So basically this is how many available workers I have and how many set of workers we have. Alright, so we're going to start taking cohesion, I think, when this hits 0%. So this isn't like my overall. That's saying my workers are unsatisfied. So I'd assume every N amount of time we take a hit here or an event occurs because, you know, people are hungry. And how dare they expect me to take more care of them? We're pirates. Honestly, do really like this style of building of just this ridiculous nonsense on the walls and everything. So you have both the horizontal and the vertical to work with. It kind of makes you think of Timberborn in that regard, where it's like, don't forget to build up. Let's see. Pirates could take a lot, but a lack of food or proper shelter will push even the toughest sailors to the brink of outrage. How will you tend the address their anger? Tend to this at once. Have a rising satisfaction in all pirate camps for 120 seconds. We're making the stew now. And I don't know how long I have to accomplish this. I love the impracticality of everything happening here. Like, to have this log processing up the side of a mountain, so that some poor fool has to drag an entire log up here just to split it to drag it back down. Yeah, no, my guess is that we're currently, like, in the tutorial style of it. But so you're allowed to play as much as you want until release. The YouTube videos on your feed have exactly 1 hour, so you're wondering. Yeah, there's no requirement around it. At least not that I've seen disclosed. I'm pretty sure my only limitation was that if you're looking at YouTube videos that came out before today, you're looking at the past version of it. Because until today, it was under embargo outside of the, of like an early play test. Yeah, no, it says it covers long form play and everything. There's no restriction on time. You're probably looking at like the playtest that was a couple months back, or a month or so back. Because this is the full release version that will be coming out on the 31st. Granted, I'm sure they'll have some bug fixes and whatever. Okay. So we're about to have the satisfaction climbing. As far as it being exactly 1 hour, that very well also might not have anything to do with this. Generally speaking, for YouTube videos, between half an hour to an hour is kind of the sweet spot. Once you start going longer than that, you typically see your numbers take a very steep decline. So it's kind of conventional wisdom for, you know, YouTube videos to not make them too long. Otherwise, you split it up. Our swift action satisfies everyone. Well done. Let's grab a few drinks.
Well, this is a start. But for a pirate nest, we're still missing a vital establishment, don't you think?
Ah, yes. A treasury. Or perhaps a high-class brothel.
She means a tavern, you posh idiot.
Alright, while hands and fetchers work in buildings, your ships are manned by crew. Crew have an upkeep such as booze, which is also used for hiring them for your ships. Moonshine still can produce booze for no cost. Like campfires, their production is slow. Better ways to produce these resources will become available later. A tavern can distribute drinks to all pirates within the area of the pirate camp. Be sure enough booze is delivered to the tavern, and your crew will be satisfied. Remember to assign fetchers and that... So, it says to assign... Oh, I think... Because it's assigning fetchers automatically. I'm assuming it's if I didn't have enough fetchers. That'd be a whole thing. Alright. But yeah, no, I think we were seeing the 1 hour. It's either that was the playtest and maybe it was limited by time, or it's just, you know, the stuff you have to do on YouTube to make it work. For me, because my primary audience is on Twitch, I don't really worry about necessarily the YouTube algorithm, because it's kind of one of those things that can make my content suited for Twitch or it can make my content suited for YouTube. What is expected on either platform and what I should do for either one is different. Because, for example, if I do a 1 hour stream on Twitch, I'm going to get nowhere. Is this Timberborn on Unreal Engine 5? I would not say. We're not doing any water management. It's not voxel-based or anything like that. And the assumption is we will be eventually having all sorts of other shenanigans we're going to get up to. So I am realizing with the warehouse that I'm going to need more storage. Hey, Sim, how's it going? Oh, booze? Not boobs? Yes, booze. How's it going, Sim? Can we get a shout out for Simcopter1, our fantastic content creator on the platform that I highly recommend checking out? Does all sorts of good stuff over there. So definitely give him a pop in and see what you think and all that. Well, has been playing a bunch of different things. I believe you were playing GoldenEye the other night when I was hanging out. I mean, when they were talking about the tavern, the one was like a high class brothel. It's like, I mean, I'm sure there's so much min-maxing you can do here so far as a bunch of this. Yeah, so it looks like each warehouse can only handle 3 different resources. But then they've got really good capacity for those resources.
Finally, a place to wet me gills.
Things are coming together. All that's left is a pier, so we can build a ship.
Rumbulian, we need a tavern keep in here.
Coming.
Alright. So we can make a shallow pier. Needs to be put in a... Okay. Needs to be put in a pier slot. So this is one that I have to put in, like, a specific set of areas. Then we need to connect it to the pirate camp. All of this building is so impractical, and I love it so much. Are you not connected? Pretty sure you are connected. Okay, it's doing. Your computer has no issues since you lost power today? Yeah. I'm also noticing, I was expecting cohesion to be something that would slowly tick up over time, or slowly tick down, so that, like, as we were going, you know, and my pirates are well taken care of, the cohesion would creep up a little at a time. And then if I'm not taking very good care of them, it'd creep down.
I must admit, this is starting to look like a little haven.
Did you miss me, pirate scum?
Amara! How the hell did she make it here?
Her ship is barely holding together.
But she still has her cannons.
If we don't have a gun tower or better ship ready in time, well, we'd better duck for cover.
Well, considering I don't have anything, I guess we just get hit by the pirates. To be fair, we're in the tutorial, so it could be like, here's the basic mechanics. slap you down again. You know, now you could like greenfield build it. We'll see.
Our haven is taking fire. Everyone, to the tavern!
Yeah, so this is scripted. You know, you just turn your ship sideways and stop moving and just shoot, right?
You think you can build your nest on this rock? Think again.
That blasted wench. Kill her, now!
We have him! Back to the ship!
See, the attacking ship has bombarded our island. We lost many pirates and buildings. Okay, so we lost cohesion and pirates died. Alright. Oh no, this is not at all like a mobile game. Like, we don't have like static positions for everything. There's no timers and that nonsense. Nah, this is Hooded Horse. This is gonna be good stuff. We've been attacked and destroyed. Did she just kidnap the bartender? As best I could tell, yes, but he was kind of guiding us, and he's the one who broke us out. So I'm not sure why they grabbed just him. But we're figuring that out. You've been attacked. Some of your buildings have been destroyed. Destroyed buildings will have the fire icon. Click on the damaged building to start repairs. Repair all buildings. No resource input. Provider stock is empty. Oh, because our tent's broken. What? Is everything good? You just said Rual. It didn't say any more information. Okay, so does it automatically reconnect? It does. So input not available. The resource provider stock is empty. Fetchers, never mind. It sorted itself. What? Why is everyone saying Rual?
Took our tavern keep. After her.
How? We still don't have a ship.
Then let's build one. It's about bloody time.
Okay. Ships let you explore the seven seas, visit distant regions, and complete quests. Build one, select the pier, start construction of your first ship. Okay. Start construction. So we can make the Landlubber. Later we'll have the Moonlight. We have the Azimuth, the Nightshade, the Iron Fist, and the Steel Edge. And we have a whole bunch of stats I don't really know much about one way or the other. So we'll learn those. And they'll take 15 swabbies who will need food and booze. So you can build the ship. And I'm sure this is something that genuinely, as you play it on harder difficulties and get later, you would need to be taking a lot more consideration of production lines. That went way faster than I thought it was going to. Venus is alive.
Isn't she a beauty?
Beauty? It's a floating turd.
And who shall be the proud captain of this turd?
One of us has to, I'm afraid.
Alright. Your ship needs a captain and a crew before it can set sail. Let's start by assigning a captain at the pier. So you have the landlubber. So no captain assigned. Alright, so we've got Teach. Teach is the last of the old guard, while those around him have fallen victim to the crown, or pirate hunters, or even their own crews. Teach has survived through brutality, vigilance, and sheer force of will, and his name is already legend. And he has extra health and damage. He has a thing called Hatred is Power, which it doesn't really tell me what that does. Easy as murder, gain an extra, I'm assuming, roll in your next turn if you deal damage to the opponent's health. So basically, if we do actual damage, you get to do it, get to get more maths. We've got Kanja. Kanja has roamed the docks of the hometown as a child to catch the lovely scents of various spices in the air. The fact that certain of these were more valuable than gold fascinated him. He eventually became a wealthy spice trader, but is branded a pirate due to his ruthless tactics. Gets better supplies and speed. All or nothing, gain +3 to your dice pool next turn. If the dice pool results in less than 5 next turn, it becomes 1. Okay, so basically, you roll the dice, and you either get a good number, or you straight up doing that. What are you going on about, No Namer? We've got Scarlet. There's a fine line between bravery and foolishness. This is where Scarlet thrives. She's earned a reputation of doing the deeds that others fear the most. She will not be outdone. She will never back down. And by her own admission, she probably should already be dead. So she does extra boarding damage. And she gets an extra dice roll for like an entire objective. And Honorata, who is firsthand knows firsthand how subtle the difference between privateer and pirate can be, depending on who you ask. Her father, William, was both. Following in his footsteps, Honorata was always refused to let others dictate what or who she should be. So she has speed and maneuverability, and she gains supplies based on dice outcome. And takes extra damage too. I don't know what that symbol is. So it looks like for a captain for combat, we're looking at probably Teach or Scarlet, depending on, am I expecting to just have a shootout or board? Since they do have a prisoner on board, I would assume we're going to need to board to rescue the prisoner. I have no knowledge of whether we actually will, but it's fine. So we're going to sign the captain. Manage the crew. To hire crew, however, you might not have enough drifters for 40-man ship. You can shut down buildings to free up drifters for important tasks. Okay. So where can we afford to free up some drifters? For right now, I can pause that and pause this. To man your ship, turn drifters into crew. Each crew requires upfront hiring cost as well as continually consuming upkeep resources. For now, you can only hire swabbies. They can be assigned to any ship, but won't improve its stats. As you progress, you'll unlock more advanced crew types that require different upkeep resources and essential for strengthening your ships. To use the overviews, learn more about each cruise. There's a reason why Steam is the thing lowering... You need to avoid the abbreviations. Because I gotta sit there and be like, CIS? There's a bunch of things that mean CIS. But yeah, no, there's a reason why piracy, so far as software piracy, has been in a dip. Being able to... Yeah, post-USSR. Right. But I mean, Steam is actually lowering software piracy at large when it comes to consideration of games, because it used to be one of the main reasons you'd actually have software piracy was you would go to want to buy your game, you would go to the store, it wasn't there, so you'd have wasted half your day going there to not have it on the shelf, and then just do without. And then with Steam, you just make sure you have it. You used to stand outside the store at midnight for, like, the release of whatever the next game was, and while there was a certain fun, you know, hanging with a bunch of people who are enthused about the art thing, it was very much the moment, like, midnight hit, you got through your line, you got your game really fast, and everyone's scattered and dispersed. And, like, as much as there's nostalgia for me doing that for, like, some of the Blizzard World of Warcraft updates and whatever, would I go back to it? Nah, man, I'm loving the time hits and the game just shows up and I can play it. Alright, so we need to manage the crew. Alright. Your island is surrounded by the vast ocean of the Seven Seas. Many different region events and quests are accessible by your ships. They offer rewards and resources that cannot be found in your island. Every region is covered by a fog of war, which is dangerous for your ships. Visiting a discovery point lifts the fog of war and reveals all available events. If none of your ships are in an uncovered region, its fog of war will slowly return. Any ship with a captain and crew can travel to an event. You can select the ship by clicking the captain's portrait from above the ship on the bottom left, then pressing on the embark button to send it to the last selected ship and event. Many events are struggles between your ship and an opponent. Opponents differ based on event and may be another ship, a port, sea beast, harsh weather conditions, and more. An event is completed when all its objectives are achieved. Okay, so we can go to this, click on...
Itches. Luff! I say luff, you swabs!
All shipshape and ready to go.
Amara can't have gone far. Let's get our bearings.
Yeah, so I'm curious how we get more crew. If we have to, like, rescue or whatever. That could be my limitation. Is that, you know, it's not like your typical city builder where more people are just born constantly that you might have to rescue. As far as your perspective on pirating, it's just that you're a worthless kid and now you're buying all your games and played. Yeah, no, that was definitely a big thing growing up, that there was a lot of games I got a hold of because, you know, I didn't have a lot of money. The internet was there. And then again, I was in a small town and, you know, GameStop showed up later, but before we had GameStop, you just had to go to the local, like, electronic boutique or whatever kind of store. And there was a lot of times they didn't have the games you wanted. So then you'd have to, like, go to the next town over and get your parents to drive you an hour to maybe have it on the shelf. So if it's a new game, you know, maybe, maybe not. Alright, so we can enter this.
Fearless.
Okay, so we have another ship here.
Fearless. Keep her steady.
Okay. Your ship has reached the Seven Seas event. You can enter as soon as you're ready. Alright. The Crown's Armada roams our waters. Let's send them to the depths. So, it's going to be a recommended one ship. With a gun damage of 2, which we have. We will be rewarded a tiny bit of cohesion and black powder. An event has started. Finish the objective to win. Reduce the enemy health to 0. Let's see. Dice pool. The number of dice you roll in an active turn. Health, crew. If either hits 0, you lose. Supplies. Most action costs supplies. If you run out, your options are limited. Combat stats, they determine the effectiveness of your actions. I appreciate that they didn't explain it. So we have gun damage, destructive power of your ship depending on the actions during events. This does damage against the crew, the opponent's health or crew. Boarding damage, the boarding power of your ship depending on the actions during the event. This does damage against the opponent's health or crew. Speed, rapid cruising ability of the ship used to by actions in events to overcome distance and avoid damage. Higher speed also reduces the travel time at sea. Maneuverability, the agility of the ship, and it's used its actions during events to overcome distance and avoid damage. Armor, the projectile power or protective power of the ship. Depending on your actions during events, armor can protect the ship health or crew or help overcome distance. Okay. Dice pool, the number of dice pools and rolls, health, crew. Okay. And so that's their stuff. So their stats are universally worse than ours in every way except for number of crew. This is the opponent's action for the current turn. It will be executed simultaneously with yours. Surprise broadside, completely destroy the player's supplies. These are your available actions for the current one. Each one has an action cost on your supplies. Some actions gain you treasure if you win the event. All treasure will be rewarded as bonus plunder. Click on the highlighted action. Well, let's see what they actually say. So we can keep her steady. We prevent 3 to 4 damage. We can aim and fire, deal 3 or 4 damage. We can do a wasteful barrage, which means we do 11 damage. But we lose all of our supplies, and we gain 5 treasures. Obviously, I want to do that one and ignore this other one here. What you really loved is that your older brother was friends with the DJ on the local radio thing. And had all the modern CDs. They made you listen to Bumfunk MCs, CDs, Metallica, and so on. Yeah, so it wants me to do this one. Now your opponent will roll the dice in your dice pools. The outcome will be determined by the effectiveness of your action. Okay. So we did 4 damage to them, and they destroyed all our supplies. Your action has reduced the opponent's health, while their action has destroyed your supplies. Now a new turn begins. Without supplies, you can no longer take battle actions. Switch to supplies to choose an option to resupply. Gotcha. So, desperate measures. So we could take damage and damage crew to gain a bunch of supplies. We could take health damage to gain supplies. We could take crew damage supplies, or we can chuck money into the water basically to gain supplies. So it's clearly telling us that we're going to damage our health to gain supplies. Alright, so defensive blast, deal a bunch of damage. And we're going to lose all our supplies, gain our treasure, and do wasteful barrage, which is what I would have done the first round since it was 11 damage, which would have instantly killed them.
Good job. To hell with the crown and their cronies. Time for a drink.
Okay, so we got some money, we got some supplies, and we gained a little bit of cohesion. Alright. Go back to the pier so you can repair your ship and hire new crew to unload your loot.
Go about.
Charming little backwater, this. I wonder if there's gold to be found here.
Who cares? We need to find that Spanish wench.
Her ship was in bad shape. Barbas Bay Port is close by. I bet she's there.
Alright. You repair your ship and hire new crew. Let's see. The debris of the recent fight reaches our island, carrying a handful of exhausted pirates with it. Their ship was attacked by a pirate hunter under the Spanish flag. Amara, no doubt. So we're going to get 15 pirates.
Shelter too. Let's make sure we're providing.
Alright. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be event-based that we get crew. So let's make sure we turn these buildings back on so we're able to actually work. They don't... So we need 10 more housing. So you can go here. Make a little bit extra because it's planks, so we basically get those for free. It's just labor.
Let's share the stories of our voyage.
Okay. So we returned with 2 events. We took 12 damage to our ship. We used 19 supplies. We got black powder, a little bit of money, and a tiny bit of cohesion. Okay, later we'll be able to upgrade the pier. So repair the ship. Yeah, so it looks like it's part city builder and then part like this map exploration / turn-based combat thing. Which will be interesting once they like take me off the rails, because like I said, that first fight was obviously super scripted on what was going on. Let's see, sailors, scoundrels, crown deserters, people of all walks of life drift to our shores. Some would welcome them with open arms, others harbor suspicion towards the new arrivals. What should we do? So we can welcome all, and it'll take a ton of food, it'll knock down our cohesion, but it'll give us way more pirates. We can take all their valuables and all that, which will slightly reduce our cohesion and give us a ton of money, but no extra people. Take only the able-bodied, which is kind of the neutral one. You can just send them away for nothing. I will bring them on board. Fresh drifters, building trust will take time, but we'll be stronger for it. None shall be sent away. Okay. So we will go into constructing more homes. Well, tents. I guess home is very relative here. Is this Frostpunk, but with pirates? I wouldn't put it with Frostpunk, because, like, Frostpunk, you have, like, the whole existential crisis kind of thing of, you know, the world's ending. Okay, so we still need more houses. We did take on 35 extra people. I will say, appreciate the tents can be wedged in here pretty good. It's sort of a city builder. It doesn't have the same style of, like, expedition like Frostpunk, where you send them out and then, like, a triggered event happens and all that. There's kind of something similar to that. Okay, we still need even more tents, apparently. And then that should be plenty. But yeah, there is a concept of, like, you explore and there's all that. Is that my average thing? So we're trending down on food. So I am going to need a second campfire. But yeah, it does have some interesting city builder mechanics. While also having, like, turn-based combat and, like, exploration, all that. That's coming to be kind of, not necessarily a standard, but a very common thing within, a lot of the city builders these days. If they're not going for, like, the SimCity style, but going, you know, more broadly, that a lot of the city builders have begun more and more of, introducing mechanics along the lines of You have some, you explore the wider world and all that. It's becoming very common. Okay, got maximum crew size.
Of course. Fearless. We'll seize death's luff. I say luff, you swabs.
Okay, so
Damnation. Is this the slowest ship ever built? We might just swim to Barbas Bay instead.
the satisfaction is going down. There, that should help. But yeah, so it does have like the exploring the wider world and all that. There's also a fog of war where apparently like if I explore this area and I don't come back for a long time, that happens. It looks like there's also another enemy ship over there maybe. So it does look like there might be other mechanics. It's just hard to tell because we're currently tutorialized pretty hard. Which we did get the choice of skipping the tutorial if we wanted. And this is the story mode, which we're checking out. We could possibly sit here in a little bit and then switch off of the story mode. It's just always tricky with that. Let's see, your ship has reached the Seven Seas event. You can enter it as soon as you're ready.
The word.
Let's see, Arma's keeping Rabellion locked up here. Let's bust him out. So we'll get stone brick, some coin, some cohesion, and we're recommended to have at least 2 ship gunpowder, which we have. So let's go ahead and enter
so
there.
You followed us. No matter. Are you here for your tavern keep? Then you will have to take our fire.
Alright, so now I'm actually in control. So we could choose Windfall. So their first attack is going to do 2 damage to our supplies. We could go ahead and go for the Windfall over the treasure. We can prevent damage. We could take cover. So none of these are offensive. Escape the event, take damage based on the player dice roll. We don't need any supplies. I guess in this case I'll take the treasure. I don't seem to have an option to do damage. Okay, so this time you're gonna do damage to me. Oh, defend ourselves for 2 remaining turns. Okay, so she's gonna try and do damage to us. Let's do safe distance. That should negate the damage. She's going to gain 2 dice rolls next turn, but give me a +1 dice roll next turn. So I guess I'll do that so we both get 2 dice rolls.
Pirates don't give up so easily. Now let me go, or they'll shoot this port to bloody pieces.
Alright, so they're going to... What's the health? So they have 11 health. And they're going to do 2 to 7 damage. We can into the breach where we do a ridiculous amount of damage. But we will straight up lose crew. We can do 3 to 8 damage. And prevent 3 to 8 damage. Or we can do 3 to 8 damage and get an extra dice roll. So we're going to cancel their damage. And do a bit of damage ourselves. And that's burning my supplies, so even though I'm not taking health, I am exhausting my supplies, and to replenish supplies, I have to hurt myself. Alright. So we're going to do all-out barrage, which will do 3 to 8 damage, but they'll take double damage. We can't negate all this damage. We can negate half of it, though. They'll do that, will reduce the damage by half. They'll take double damage, so they should get knocked out.
Enough! We yield. Cease your fire and take back your bloody tavern keep.
Okay, and we got a bunch of supplies and all that.
My blade itches.
Let's share the stories of our voyage.
Enjoy your little victory while you can. This is far from over. Mark my words.
I was right to put my trust in you lot. Thanks for pulling me out.
Let's see, we broke our tavern keeper out of prison. The first real victory against the crown. Arma's promised swift revenge.
Now let's make for home. Mara's flagship will be fixed up any moment now. No doubt she'll come for us then.
Keeps ping-ponging back and forth from there.
Why did the Spanish wench kidnap you anyway?
Perhaps she thinks this tavern keep is more dangerous than all you lot combined.
You? All you do is serve drinks and swap the counter.
I got us all here, didn't I?
Okay. I'm ready for it to let me off the rails. I was actually expecting to take some casualties, so we're at a slight deficit on booze. Cool. Alright. You hear shouting from offshore. Familiar faces from Amara's ship are clinging to Flotsam and Driftwood. More survivors and their harrowing escape coming to join the crew.
Our island has all we need to build defenses. Let's get to it, and soon.
Okay, so repair the ship. Alright. As you progress, the Crown will inevitably send ships to attack you. They will target attack points around your island. You can select the pirate camp to show all relevant attack points. Building gun towers to defend these attack points will prevent the Crowns from destroying your buildings. Okay, so I choose the camp. We have an unprotected attack point here. Gun towers will need to be within range and line of sight of an attack point. An unprotected attack point is indicated by the broken shield icon. Gun towers are unprotected and inactive until they have enough ammunition and storage. Supply them with black powder so they can produce ammunition. Once a gun tower is active, its attack points turn green and become protected. When the Crown ships are en route to your island, this icon will appear at its destined attack point. Incoming attack points have different damage levels with different health. Your towers will deal their damage to the ship health first. If that does not sink the ship, it will return fire and destroy the tower. When an attack point is not defended, an attacking Crown ship starts bombarding the island. Every building is attacked. Pirate camp will enter a crisis state. Buildings will shut down, pirates will die, and satisfaction will drop. Crisis state ends when the Crown ship stops attacking or is destroyed by a gun tower. Okay, so we need to... We got small gun tower, quarry, and stone rock cutter. Okay, so we got that and that connected. Then I need to connect... you over there. So let us start quarrying. And then we need our gun tower. Okay. We're working on getting all that built. Alright, we need more housing again. And it did tell us we're going to get better housing as time goes on and all that, because... oh boy, are we building a lot of just tents everywhere. And then we also need... the place where we produce the wine. There we go. The moonshine production, or whatever it is. Okay. Okay, that gets the bricks into storage. That gets the drinks into storage. You're still waiting on more brick. Okay, so that should get us what we need so far as the more of everything. Alright. And this is one trick with any of these games that have any level of complexity to them. Is there definitely is that early game of being like, you don't know the mechanics, you have to learn them. Which means you usually do need to go through the tutorial. There's literally a meme around, like, content creators who skip the tutorial and try and jump right into, you know, get to the more engaging and more exciting content, and then inevitably getting stuck and not being able to make any progress and just losing and not having a very satisfactory experience. It's actually one of the reasons why we end up having a lot of, strong opinions isn't the word I want to put in there. We are very conscientious of tutorials done well versus poorly and all that, because a lot of the times that can heavily shape how that experience goes for people. And it's a thing where one thing you can do as a content creator is you can do the tutorial off stream, but in a lot of cases that makes for a bad representation of the game, of what you're actually going to experience when you play it yourself and all that. I personally am someone who I deliberately try to not play any game before I show it on stream, beyond just, does it run properly? Okay, that's as much as I'm going to mess with it off stream, just to make sure it doesn't crash or slideshow right at the beginning. So, like, if we're playing, like, a survival crafter, I'll usually load in and just, like, turn the camera a couple different ways and take a couple steps forward and back, and then that's it. Just enough to make sure it runs. Because obviously if the game immediately crashes OBS and the stream ends, that does no one any good. But a lot of those things, and it's good to provide the, like, onboarding experience to people. Can't tell if you're actually doing things. Oh, okay, and there's a limited amount of stone in the wall here before it runs out. Yeah, so you should be connected there. Then you bring the stone down here. Production versus drain, so we're 1-to-1. You're saying insufficient input. There you go. I think that was the problem. Yeah, so I guess I would have liked it so that where that wasn't connect, put a little icon up there being like, hey man, there's no source connected to this. I think that would help.
Everything's ready. We can build our first gun tower.
Okay. I just toggle it on and off to get credit for the quest. But you have a thing that's all hands on deck, which like puts a significant strain on your supplies, but then makes them build faster. I want you all to get back to work. I know 24 of you don't have jobs, so you're just drinking up and partying, but like, I'm willing to bet you could fit more people into that quarry. Or like, go cut down a tree. I don't know, do something productive around here. What am I not paying you for? Okay, what are you complaining about? Storage is full. Yeah, so I think one lesson I'm learning is I've been having everything get throughput the warehouse to have buffers, and I don't think I'm actually gaining much value from there. So the wood, that makes sense, but the stew doesn't seem to make sense to do that. And I mentioned the boot. Well, I mean, maybe it does. There's a lot of storage inside the building they use it. All right, so we only need 5 more.
You
Never
think
mind.
this measly tower is enough to hold off Amara?
Let's give it a chance, shall we?
Okay. Gun towers. All right. Where? Inactive. No input resource connection. No ammunition. Select the resources to connect it. Maybe it needs to go through a warehouse? Okay. I think that did it. I'm not 100% sure. I see a person walking with black powder. So resource drain too high. And it did tell me we'd get better options for food and all that stuff eventually. Yeah, so it's pretty much saying that we're not making enough food. Okay, there goes the black powder coming back. And I think it's because some of that was like the pirate loot, and so this building isn't an actual like viable source for it. Okay, so that should bring in more food. Okay, so they are getting the black powder, which is slowly making that thing. Not all pirates get along. Despite our best efforts to ensure cohesion across the community, quarrels are inevitable. Between two pirates, an argument has grown into a dispute, and the dispute has grown into a feud, with the rest of the community now picking sides. So, we could put our foot down. This will hurt cohesion. We could stay out of it, which means 5 pirates will die, or we could throw money at the problem to make it go away. Now, as a reminder, if my cohesion, which right now is 36 out of 100, if it hits 0, it's game over. So I have a lot of cash, but not a lot of cohesion, so we're going to throw cash at the problem. This is exactly the kind of situation the Articles of Agreement were drafted for. We peruse the pirate code and find an article that could apply, with some creative interpretation, to the matter at hand. We make our case and offer coin to sweeten the deal. The feuding pirates shake on it, peace is restored. It says click enter to do this.
Fearless.
I'm assuming I can't actually do any interactions with it until we're released from the tutorial.
We'll seize destiny.
Not really sure what's going on right now. Because you carried this up here. I guess it takes a decent amount of black powder to make anything. Yeah, so it's about 30 black powder to make one shot. That seems highly inefficient. I didn't miss that there was something I could go... Yes, there's not a place for me to get black powder locally yet. My assumption is we'll do like this quest and then we'll figure out what the source of black powder will be for this game. But yeah, that definitely gives you an idea on the limit here. That it takes a while to replenish your gun towers. And if it's something like all the gun towers fire at the same time so you can burn through resources real fast, that could be your limiter there on your scaling, so you can't just, you know, ram 10 gun towers like right along here and every threat is just handled instantly. If the resource cost is high.
Good work. Next time Amara strikes, we'll be ready.
Prepare yourselves, pirates! The Crown's wrath will rain down upon you soon.
How did she tell me that? How is she saying that as her pirate ship's like way out here? Definitely out of ear range. Yeah, so it's got the pirate ship, or the crown ship marked as having a 1 health icon. So I'm assuming this does 1 health icon that we repel the attack or whatever, and that she will potentially do damage to us on the way in or something. I don't know how that works. But my assumption is that this would be a thing where you cancel the combat effectively, but it costs you
Our
resources.
haven is taking fire.
I don't... Okay, that is firing back.
They got us! Abandon ship!
Okay. The island is protected and attacking ship was successfully destroyed. Well done.
Rest in pieces, you blasted wench.
Okay, and as such, now it needs to replenish its ammo.
There was no sign of Amara in the wreckage. I believe she escaped.
Damnation. Can't that woman stay dead for once?
I told you, it takes more than that to kill a captain.
We'll be ready next time. Let's expand, build defenses, show her what this crew can do.
Alright, so build a new pirate camp. Was that a guano gatherer? Powder mill, charcoal burner? Okay. You'll soon need resources that lie outside the range of your first pirate camp. Building more pirate camps lets you expand your haven and your range. Make sure you have the means to supply your expansion, or you will quickly face outrage. Pirates transport resources on roads and cliff paths faster than on ladders and bridges. Use roads and cliff paths to cover long distance efficiently. The more efficient, the options like zip lines will be available as well. Okay. So we can get a guano gatherer. Let's see, birds are all too happy to provide. Which makes guano. And then we use guano and charcoal to make black powder. We have the charcoal burner, which takes wood and stone. And we have the pirate camp. I see. So the issue we have here is we need the charcoal. Sorry, we need the birds. There's all sorts of different materials here. There's a lot of birds up here. Yes, I've got guano over there. Guano up here. We've got guano in just about every direction. I'm just trying to look for, like, a variety of resources to see which way I want to go. So I'm looking down here. It's kind of looking the most promising. Because that I can place this up here. We've got the, we've got fresh water here. We've got the guano. We've got other materials that I don't know what are. Yeah, we can pretend that's a reasonable ladder. Okay. I'm assuming I'll end up needing a galley up here and all that.
Fearless.
Hey, Basset, how's it going? We gotta wait for that to be there, then we can put the guano thing here. Now let's see what we have to do to keep them happy over here. Because now we'll get to the point of replenishing our ammo.
With every camp we build, more of our island's bounty.
Okay.
Come within our grasp.
Okay, so there's no penalties here yet, so that's good news. Cliff path. Cliff paths are like roads for cliffs, slightly faster than bridges and ladders. Yeah, my assumption is those stay flat along the walls, and they can't tether around like that. So, like, that's probably cliff path here, and that's the bridge that goes slower. For right now, we're not going to mess with that. We're just taking what we can get. So we got to get the guano. I am going to need to go here. So for you, you need the timber that's sawn. Probably one of those ones where you end up needing to duplicate a bunch of this. Okay, so that should give me... I believe everything I need for producing that. So now let's grab these paths. So you have these cliff paths. And those are all connected. And those are all connected. The rate you can connect these things can be pretty cursed. Alright, so I'm expecting to have problems with like food and all sorts of stuff here. But we don't know how a lot of this works, and there's only one way to find out. I'll certainly also need at least a warehouse. You wonder what the rate of accidental falls is? Yes. The answer is just yes. Okay, so you're now upset greatly by the lack of stew. I kind of figured that was coming, but I had to test. So we can go ahead and put a galley. I was trying to save what that is. It's fine for now. Because they've queued up building way too much, so they're going to get upset about it. Is there a prioritization system in this? putting all hands on deck for those two. Yeah, no, I really like the construction setup of this. Oh, it's telling me no input resource. You'll have to wait a minute, man. We're still building everything. Okay. So that's 16 going in. Bet you're too slow to transport. You're moving it 2 inches. Okay, food should be going up. Yeah, no, I really like the building side of this. Alright, so you need the wood and the stone. There's the guano. Okay, so here's the woodcutter. And we got all of this, and use sorcerer stuff from up there. Okay, so in theory, all of that's working now. And produce 20 black powder.
Give the word.
Can I do anything with you yet? Upgrade ship. It says click enter to discover region. It doesn't mean the enter button. Yeah, so it jumps between pirate camps.
Give the word.
Assign building to different pirate camp. Start connecting. What's the... That's your bonus for doing missions.
Aye.
Yeah, I think we're stuck on the scripted part because I see an enemy ship or trade ship or something zipping around out here. Getting that black powder done? There we go. It wasn't actually connecting. Yeah, I do feel like they could really use icons above buildings where it's like, hey man, they got this up here, and sometimes they show and sometimes they don't. I feel like it'd be a little bit nicer if they were very overt, being like, "Hey, man, you don't actually have that connected." But like this one, I thought we connected it. So I'm unclear sometimes on a little bit of this. Yeah, now when I don't have the connection icon, but it has the hardwood somehow. Which I thought I had connected both of those, but we shall see. Yeah, that's what I guess. And to be clear, this game isn't fully, like, releasing until the end of the month, the 31st, I believe. So this is kind of a, this is like a release candidate. I'm sure they're going to be doing more bug fixing and all that. A little cleanup on that. Bear with me, chat. Since we're on this ad break real fast, I'm going to quickly use the restroom, and I'll be back in just a minute, and thank you again for tuning in. Alright, and I am back. And also with that, me and Toom are down to our, like, last two of the Japanese snack things that we got from the snack thing. So it is, I find this amusing. So it's clearly Japanese packaging. Like, it's all in Japanese. But they're like animal crackers, this last one, but they have the English name for it. So they have, like, cow, hen, and that kind of stuff. So they're animal crackers, but from Japan or something. They're good. It's like a thinner, crunchier animal cracker kind of thing. Has like a mild hint of maybe vanilla, but it's a cracker. It's a cracker. There's not a whole lot to say about that. Alright, so I got a couple of builders still running around. Okay, we're right about to finish getting the black powder.
Finally, back at me tavern again. Now, I had something to say before we were so rudely interrupted. Let's all come together and set a course for our future. Gather round me, mateys. We have a grand opportunity here. In this place, with this crew, we can build a haven for pirates. But first, we must agree on what that means. Not every pirate wants the same in life. What principle do we as captains represent? Some of us seek fame and notoriety. Others want the power to start an empire. Some are eager to master the seas, while others simply want to be rich. There are many ways to pirate greatness. Whatever path we choose, 5 great trials will mark our rise. We will create our own pirate legacy and shape this island into a true pirate haven.
Okay, that's an info dump we just got on this screen. So we have 4 different paths we can do. Phoenix on the Run, the Noose of the Enrique, Charting with Charlie, and Raven in the Jungle. And the assumption is once you choose one of these paths, there is a victory condition to win the game. But like what it's going to be will be based on that.
Notoriety, empire, seafaring, and wealth. These are the 4 winds that shape a pirate's journey. Each one pulls us towards a different fate, and each offers its own rewards. We can devote ourselves to one, chase glory in a single direction, or try to master them all. The choice is ours, but progress must be earned.
Okay. Deeds.
We must complete great deeds. They'll grant us progress and push us further along the 4 winds, shaping the kinds of pirates we are. Let us complete these deeds and reap their juicy rewards.
Alright.
Good to see our priorities align. A wealthy pirate is a happy pirate.
Okay, so we have this one here is around notoriety. This one is around starting your empire. This one's about mastering the sea, and then this one's just straight up about wealth. And then finishing those objectives gave us 2 compass points, and because those are on wealth, they go on the wealth side. Okay. That is a lot of depth I had not anticipated. Alright, greatly increases the transportation speed across all terrain, stockpile resources in a trading post to sell for coin, increase the capacity of fiber deposits with every rank. So...
Our cups flow over.
Phoenix is asking us to smuggle himself away from something. What could go wrong? Captain Timothy Shore was born in privateering community on a small island. When the privateers turned to piracy to survive, the crown retaliated by burning the whole village to the ground. Timothy's wife and daughter died in the fire, and he himself suffered grievous burns. Reborn as Phoenix, he retains a deep-seated hatred for the crown and all it represents. Legend's luck. An opponent dice in common with yours is set to 0. When revenge choice is selected and passive above takes effect, event dice roll is reduced by -1 for the rest of the situation. Okay, and that would take me down this path. We have a noose for Enrique. A man named Enrique wants to save his friends from the noose. He promises power in return. Let's see. After their tribe was wiped out by the Spanish colonists, Enrique and his sister Ines were adopted and raised by Archie, an old buccaneer who taught them how to live off the land and sea. Armed with Archie's faithful rifle, Enrique joined a pirate crew, looking for vengeance against Spain. So they gain bonuses for lens and tobacco. They have a penalty to speed and maneuverability, and they have whatever ambitious raider is. We've got charting with Charlie. Charlie Legrand was challenged us to chart the dangerous fogs with her, a test of our mettle. Let's see. A mind like a blade and keen understanding, cause and effect. Charlie is a strategist who seeks out battles and will challenge her the most. She never really wanted to lead, but nobody knows warfare better. And in a time, people followed her just to be on the winning side. So she has a thing called Daredevil, and she has a much, much increased speed and maneuverability. And then Raven of the Jungle. The son of a tailor, Uragran Libris, was born faraway region, home to some of the finest sailors in the Seven Seas. At age 15, he joined a crew of a merchant frigate. A harrowing series of mistreatments and misadventures turned him into a bright-eyed boy, into a cynical man that he is today. So he has the Robber Baron. He gets bonuses for rating and maneuverability. And so all of them have a difficulty listing of 2. So I would probably pursue the Charlie one because I'm more curious about like weird things around like all that.
The task is clear. Let's get to it, me hearties.
We have gained our footing and have learned all there is to know. You must now build larger, venture farther, and follow the principles until you become a true haven. Got a bonus to cohesion.
My blade itches.
Okay, so basically, once I do one of these, we can potentially get more people. Alright. Complete your first principal quest. The first principal quest here, it just says, event is available. Okay, drifting castaways. So let's go ahead and...
Aye, simple as that.
go rescue the castaways. We're short on workers. Oh. Sailor, scoundrel, and crown deserters, people of all walks of life drift to our shores. Others harbor suspicion. We will bring them on board. So our cohesion's getting dangerously low. And that just completed a deed of getting 100 pirates. So we can improve our sawmill productivity. Having every gambling den boost all producers in the pirate camp range for 1 hour. The amount of the boost depends on the dice roll, the maximum boost being 30. Rolling costs 120 coins. Zipline. The fastest possible downhill transportation.
Raise your cups.
So, perform a smuggling run and build 20 zip lines. For her, have a fleet of 2 ships. Okay. So we need that. Alright, so what do we get? Trading post. Okay. During our journey, we come across a small raft bouncing on the ocean's whims. A handful of tired men and women are on it, clinging for dear life as best they can. They must be survivors of the shipwreck. We can rescue them and force them into our crew. We're not a charity. Those who want to join the crew are welcome. We'll leave the rest at the next port. It's an unspoken law of the ocean. Sailors must help each other without ulterior motives. So in this case, I'm getting a little nervous about our cohesion since we get a game over at 0. So I'm willing to pay 25 to get some cohesion. Yeah, so basically we provide them resources to help them as opposed to taking more crew. Wilson Week, a sailor sail one of your ships to uncover the region and stay in the area to keep it open. So they're recommending we have speed and maneuverability of 9 and 4, and we have 2.
Keep her steady.
So let her go out and do her thing. We'll have to figure out how to get rope. Sure. Connection, booze. Go sell surplus booze for a while. Okay, so let's check on our journal again. It seems like that's going to be the thing that's going to guide us. No input resource. There we go. Inactive gun tower, it's waiting for ammo. No input resource. I see the problem here. So I need you to instead supply the wood here. And then from here, you can take it from there instead. Okay, and you need more housing. Okay, we can uncover neighboring regions and all that. It looks like we have like temporary events like this merchant ship. We've got a shipwreck out here to get more stuff.
Always forward.
We make no attempts to catch this one. Sail only to survive.
So we got Dread Whale. We need to survive. Oh! Okay. Deal 15 to 20 damage to the crew. That's all of them. That's every single crew member. I may have bit off more than I can chew. Prevent 3 to 4 crew damage. Okay. Scarlet is defeated for 30 minutes. The captain cannot be assigned to a new ship until recuperated. Save the captain for a tiny bit of cohesion. So the good news is we can apparently get the crew back. All right.
You swabs.
Okay. It didn't give me a challenge rating. So to clarify, I had like 2 damage, 2 armor, like 15 health, and like 2 or 3 maneuverability and 2 or 3 speed. And its opening attack did my entire health on the low roll. In other words, the game said, "Get wrecked, nerd." Input resources unavailable, and that would be the black powder. We can remove that from the list. Alright. So, other deeds we can work on. Yeah, so just continue to raise the population. Those will happen on their own. Do events, build pirate camps. Have a fleet of 2 ships is pretty straightforward. Scavenge the remains of ships. Yeah, so I'm working towards this one. But it does look like all of these you can kind of simultaneously work on. So that's speed and maneuverability on you. So I have Honorata.
Ready to sail.
Okay, so to upgrade the ship, because there's like tiers 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so what we have learned is those are really dangerous. Oh, I didn't assign the crew, did I? Well, the merchant style ship is going to get away. Truly a tragedy. Okay, so just gotta wait for them. So it seems like you can build up a bunch of stuff, but we're kind of locked in a bunch of the things you can make for the moment. And my assumption of what's going to happen with that is that as we get this stuff unlocked, yeah, we're gonna unlock new buildings, and those will give us more stuff to do. So I could just expand with what I've got, but I'm genuinely gonna get an upgrade. Yeah, so my son. Oh, wait, actually, the merchant ship's gonna come back. Okay, so we got 7 seconds till our captain's on board.
Onwards.
And I imagine that just exists so you don't do the shenanigans, like hot swap your captain real fast to like counteract different stuff and, you know, break mechanics. So we're gonna intercept this ship. And then we're gonna go ahead and see about doing the shipwrecks and all that and save people. Just picked a fight with that whale, and the whale just didn't even give me a chance. I do like that there's some encounters where it's like, okay, you're fighting this encounter, you need to overcome it kind of thing, like you need to duke it out and go back and forth and do the damage, see who comes out on top, and then someone's like, no, this isn't an even fight. Your goal is to just not die.
Halt. We're here.
Merchants should never sail without escort. Let's remind them why.
Okay, so they are going to prevent us from gaining some distance, and they're going to deal a small amount of damage. So So we can gain distance and prevent the damage. So we're going to do that. And they're going to do the same thing again. So sure, let's prevent the damage and close in. Yeah, so I have to get close enough to my target before we can do that. So they're going to improve the... Okay. So we can gain supplies based on a dice roll. It says we'll take double damage to the crew, but they're not doing damage to the crew. But it looks like because they're not doing something, we could hook shot, close the distance on them in a big way, and then reduce all their stats. Okay, they're going to try and deal damage to the crew directly. And depending on the dice roll, we might be able to prevent that. So we're going to hold fast. So they're going to deal 1 to 6 damage. I'm going to prevent 4 to 7. We did not take any damage to our crew. We are burning our supplies down, because these numbers on the top, that's how much supplies I'm using. Alright. We can close the distance even more. And prevent the damage.
We need the cargo intact. A good scare will be enough to make them strike their colors.
Reduce the opponent's health and crew below 75%. So they'll deal 1 to 2 damage and take double damage. So we could do Untouchable, where we do 3 to 4 and prevent 3 to 4. We could do Blazing Counter, where we prevent 3 to 4 and do 3 to 8. So basically, it's going to double the resource cost with the same minimum potential, but a much higher maximum potential. We can do Cruel Comeback. That'd be a terrible idea because we're not taking health damage. And we're definitely not taking double damage. So I'm going to do the Blazing Counter. Let's gamble. Let's try and do this. Burning 2 resources. So now they're going to do a full broadside. They're going to do 1 to 6 health and take double damage to their health. So we could do Cruel Comeback. That won't prevent all the damage. Well, it actually depends on the dice rolls. It's actually got a pretty good chance, about 50% chance of preventing all the damage. And we can go ahead and deal crew damage to them.
They surrender their cargo, and we return with spoils aplenty.
Yep, I actually didn't care about that cargo.
Ready to set sail. Final stretch of the journey.
But so much of the progression of the game seems to be on achieving goals, as demonstrated by Deed, Ambush and Merchant Ship.
These are our seas.
Alright. Improve Sailmaker production in every rank. Improve Sailmaker production by 1. Oh, and it unlocks the Sailmaker. Crow's Nest. For every Crow's Nest, gain 20 gold per coin per discovery event. Mast. A mast can provide a high starting points for zip lines to other infrastructure. Let's go with the mast, or the Sailmaker, because that gives me a new building. So that gives us a wood workshop, a Sailmaker. What's the wood workshop? How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Okay, so that gives me wood tools. And then we can just make leaf out of nothing. And then the leaf and the tools make sails. And I have no idea what the sails are for, but I don't have them, so I want them. That's good enough a reason for me. That connects all those up.
some tidying up. Ready to set sail.
Yeah, we don't have access to upgrade that yet. I'll take care of those two. And then in the meantime... The warehouse is the one that's throwing me every time. Every time I go look for the warehouse, it just takes me a minute. Okay. So you're producing that all just fine. Alright, where was the other warehouse over here? Okay, and you already had the stone brick going in there. Okay, and you automatically connected yourself from the looks of it. Okay, and you also are getting your deliveries as well. So it seems like sometimes it automatically connects it, and other times it doesn't. Cool. Alright, so we're officially making sales. I don't know why we're making sales, but we are making sales. So upgrading this place costs rope. We haven't seen an opportunity to get that.
Tell me.
And as far as the boat goes...
What will we find out there?
It doesn't tell me what we need yet. Alright, so let's go ahead and embark over here.
Done.
Rescue more people, get ourselves another deed. Yeah, I was curious about this. It'll be interesting when we get way fancier food what the effect is. You know, somewhere earlier when I built this... Ah, I see. You've got zip lines from over there. So basically this gave a bunch of zip lines, kind of going from the high points over to other locations. And deeds. Ah, so it's 20 zip lines. Okay, so we got from up here, down there, up here, from down there.
Business here. Adventure awaits.
The vessel's carcass lingers below the surface, surrounded by vicious sharks that infest the seas and waters. The cargo hold is still unplundered. Pick up everything. We will get salt, a bunch of money. We leave it untouched. We might be eager for loot, but this mystery cargo is not worth the price of admission. We leave it be.
Crowd that canvas.
Because basically, I would be losing my people for stuff I don't have an immediate use for. And we don't really have much spare crew right now.
We've reached our destination. Tell me.
This smuggling crew needs a helping hand. We'll finish their delivery for the right price.
If the player gains more than 24 to 25 advantage. Okay, so we have to like negotiate. If the player gains more than 24 to 29 advantage, add 2 to the opponent's dice roll. So the idea is we want to gain a bunch of advantage, but not necessarily that much. Alright. So we'll do a cheeky offer to gain 17 to 18. That won't trigger that effect. Hard bargain. Lose 3 to 18 advantage. I don't know why I wouldn't just do the one-sided deal here. Because if I'm going to lose 3 to 18 advantage, and I'm going to gain 32 to 33, I should come out way ahead. Lose a bunch of advantage. Okay, I mean, I guess technically you could cash in a little bit here. Oh, it's because the supply cost of this is astronomical. Because I have a much better range, I should win these overtime. I should have just done the big
Cargo
one.
is on board. Now we must make good time. If we're late, the deal will be off.
Deal 1 damage to supplies for 100 meters. Gain supply based on a roll. And then take double damage to the crew. We shouldn't be taking any damage to crew. So we're going to get the supplies. That was not a lot of supplies. Deal 1 to 2 damage to the crew. So you can prevent the damage and get double our next roll. Okay, they're going to damage our supplies. We're going to go ahead and do the no risk, no reward. So we got a bunch of supplies back. Opponent gains 2 roll on the next turn. Give +1 to us on this turn. Let's do it again. That's a crap roll. Okay, deal 3 to 8 damage. And we can prevent 4 to 7. So we honestly, it could go either way. But we can gain literally the entire distance in one go. Okay, we didn't take damage.
Time. The buyer is waiting at the tavern. Let's make our way there discreetly.
This whole, like, turn-based, like, you're smuggling on. Sneak a distance of 5 meters. Oh no. 5 meters we have to sneak. That's oh man. Safe maneuver will prevent the damage entirely and gain a better roll next turn. Okay, so we could take back alley fight, we could take 1 to 2 damage. So that'll gain us 4 to 7 meters and prevent the damage, so we're gonna go ahead and take it.
We deliver the wares on time and are rewarded handsomely.
Alright.
What will we find out there?
Okay, so we'll head
Going home.
head back. You used most of your resources doing the smuggling run. That's the turn-based thing is weird. Okay, so we did a smuggling run.
Our network grows.
So you can improve the productivity of our sawmills.
I don't believe this one.
So it's interesting that we have our different ships, and I'm noticing it's kind of like you've got your purple and your blue and then your hybrid, which is interesting. So like the Tide Runner, it doesn't tell me actually. Oh, that is a lot more information than I was expecting. That's pretty much been the entirety of this game is, oh, okay, I'm getting the hang of it. What if information dense screen? Hi.
Hi. Who's the cute husband?
I don't know. Would you be a pirate named Honorata?
No.
No,
Why would that be my name?
that's just the pirate in this game.
Is that the only way I can become a pirate?
Oh.
Either be a pirate with my name.
Love.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it looks like we got different versions of it. Like these are all reavers. Those are all hunters and all that. So we've got all that stuff. The pirates. So right now we have drifters, builders, fetchers, green handers. Later we'll get master handers. On the Seven Seas, we've got swabbies, picroons, scallywags, bombardiers, crow's eyes, buccaneers, navigators, marauders, renegades, and corsairs. With production chains. Ooh. Okay. So on the list, we're making the planks, the stew, the booze, the stone blocks, the charcoal, the black powder, the ammunition, the fabric, the awl, and the sails. And we're making none of the other things. So we're making less than about maybe a fifth of the different things there. I do appreciate they show you the production lines in the whole thing. So you can be like, what do I need to make roast bird? Oh, well, I need bird and herbs. What do I need to make color pigment? So you can kind of look that one up for if you don't remember. And then the resources in the game. Ah, yeah, we're doing great. Of the resources available in the game, I have 3 of the raw resources, 2 of the processed resources, and then of the intermittent resources, we're actually doing pretty okay at about 6 of them. So yeah, we're not even a fifth through the game so far as the types of things available. The one thing we could potentially help our cause with is somewhere in here was the ship thing. So yeah, so you can get 2 more docks because it seems to be a 1-to-1 relationship between the dock and the ship, that you can't have a ship without a place to dock it. So, you know, I could go over here, potentially place another spot there, and get myself a second ship. Oh, and there's a trade pier and a deep water pier. There's a shallow pier. Anyway, just trying to add pier slots. That's this spot over here. Let's also see if it shows me... Okay, we have an unprotected angle. That's the reason I'm glad I checked. Okay. Because otherwise, apparently they would go over here and bombard me from down there.
It has potential. Yeah? I mean, yes.
And we didn't take any damage or anything like that, so... Our sense of treasure tingles. So it's recommending we have a Reaver as a specialist. We don't have that, so we're not doing that. We found a spot of floating in the ocean surface. It's not ordinary flotsam, but some crates and chests good. Looks like someone deliberately threw them overboard. Might be the work of a smuggler trying to avoid the law.
Off to adventure.
Which means more than likely we grab it, and then whoever was chasing them comes after us. A wealthy yet suspicious merchant has approached us and wants to obtain a portion of our goods production. Some voices of our community have been very negative about selling our hard-earned commodities to him. We do not have rum. We do not have cassava. So I could get a sudden giant influx of cash, but our cohesion is a little worrisome. I'd rather just take the cohesion. There's something strangely uncanny about the merchant. We will not sell out to them. As far as I can tell, we haven't seen an upkeep on cash. Like, we use it to buy things, and then it's said and done. Just where we went to take on that whale. That was pretty fun. The whale just straight up did not care at all. Just utterly wrecked us. Probably don't go into the murder hole. But yeah, so it seems like a lot of what this game is going to be is the exploration of the map, considering the map is very large.
What did we find?
And that effectively, instead of having... It almost looks like instead of having a research tree, like your typical game where you get your little building and the people just kind of hammer away in the little building and then you get the next thing, it's like that part has been removed, and in place of that, you've got this whole skill tree thing where if you do exploration things, you unlock the exploration things. If you do the empire things, you unlock the empire things. Murder Hole is just a spin cycle. We spot a few objects floating on the ocean surface. It's not ordinary flotsam, but crates and chests of goods. They look like someone deliberately threw them overboard, maybe the work of a smuggler. So we can grab planks, booze, black powder, or as much as you can. In practice, that is, we can get one of these, or we can get half as much, slightly under half as much of all of them. We're just going to grab it all.
What do we find out there?
So that's recommending that I have a destroyer. And that's the shipwreck we had down there. And that's recommending we have a reaver. We have a landlubber, which is the garbage tier ship. So what seems like we're going to need to do is build our community a little bit to get access to the next thing. So that's where it seems like you want to go in here and be like, okay, work on these things until you get there. So the level 2 ship, we're probably blocked out. Intercept the crown ships at sea. We could do that as long as we see them. Have a fleet of 2 ships. That we can do. Complete 5 events with Honorata, which we've already done 3. Scavenge the remains of 3 shipwrecks. Ambush merchant ships. Yeah, so this is kind of... I'm liking the sea exploring one. So what that would mean is we need to go over here. Oh, you're still building that, aren't you? You are connected, right? Yes, you're connected here. I'm not super sure why you're not getting progress. Because I don't think we're using all of our brick. No pirate camp connection. All right, let's go through it and redo this. Something's not right. Alright, because I always got an exposed spot that we can be attacked from that I won't defend myself or anything. Something in the way. No attack point in range. Okay, there it goes. I think we just had like a weird thing where it's clipping on the hill or whatever. Alright, now we'll have that position defended.
This place could use some tidying up. Adventure awaits.
So when your ships to uncover the region, stay in the area to keep going. Buccaneer's End, Ancient Archipelago. Don't want your ships to uncover the region. So all these are recommending we have the specialist ship. Yeah, you're recommending I have boarding damage. You're recommending I have gun damage. Okay, so with that, we can go over here and say, hey, man. Pass over that gunpowder, yo. Alright, so the next thing we're going to want to do here is I'm going to need to expand ourselves again. And the reason I need to expand again is because, unfortunately, we are not in range of, one of these days I'll remember where any of this is. We're not in range of any of the other points where we can put our ship stuff. Okay, so if I put myself here, we open ourselves up to multiple attack angles. If I put it up here, I only open myself up to one attack angle. I get a bunch of resources I'm not aware of. This opens up 2 attack angles we can hit by and only 1 port spot. Alright, Alex, how's it going? Okay, so I'm leaning towards this spot. To go far enough forward, I open up just one attack angle. And it gives me access to the salt later. Let's do that. Okay, let's try and clean this up. You managed to raise your interest in the game from 0 to a marginal interest? I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. There, it's a little curse there, but that should be connected now. Because we need a second boat to be able to push for more. And I think pretty soon we'll end up getting to the point of switching out to see whatever the next game we want to check out. I'm enjoying this game, but definitely from a content creation standpoint, does suffer from the, you know, you queue up stuff and then you have to wait, which is fine. I think from the game side, it's excellent. But from the streaming side, it's a little bit of just being like, okay, we're going to wait for whatever. And while this is all aesthetically pleasing and all that, the lack of iconography can make it a little hard for people, you know, on your devices to really see what's going on. Okay. Okay. I'll get you built there. Yeah, it being pirate themed is pretty whatever for me. But I do really like the weird way building works in this game, where it's all this stuff kind of mounted up to the walls and everywhere. Oh, what do we get? All right, so we got 3 pirate camps built.
Finally, some order in our chaos.
They can make it so we produce the capacitor deposits. Salvage dock. For every salvage dock, reduce ship construction and repair cost by 20%. And an elevator. Greatly increases the transportation speed. Perfectly for up and down.
All shall fear us!
Like the management parts. You like the management parts and the road building? Yeah, no, that's a whole thing. And it looks like there's going to be a lot of strategy, because like I'm just making these paths. And it does seem like we're going to want to be like, okay, well, in this spot, maybe there's a resource I want straight down there. So build an elevator straight down, because that's the fastest. Okay, I just need my people to get from one place to the other really quickly. Okay, we'll just zip line over here. So I really do like that they've got a whole bunch of stuff going on with that. Hey, Psychotic, how's it going? In the meantime, we also want to make this. And thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Antonio Chili? Nice. Okay, so you're starting to drop off because you don't have soup. We need to get you soup. If you're doing soup here, we'll probably have to go over here and get the... campfire. So pirate themed vertical builder? Yeah, but there's also like a whole big map thing that you have to, you know, build up your pirate vessels and get them to do a whole bunch of stuff and all that. Oh, I'm out of workers.
What will we find out there?
What are the green and red arrows for? That's where I'll be attacked from. So like I'm trying to have a gun on that side. So this one is defended, that one's defended, this one's exposed. So if I build that ship, even if I don't man it, that'll probably accomplish our goal. Community Advent Guano Grunge. The guano pickers hate their work and have started to shirk their duties, and have simply had enough of this stuff. So cut them some slack. Add sulky pickers for 30 minutes. Affected structure guano gather will be reduced. Shirking is not acceptable. We would lose some cohesion. We don't have rum. We can give them money. In this case, I actually don't need as much. We appreciate their contribution to the community. Some respite is needed. They'll return to full work eventually. Yeah, what I need to do is free up some workers. Is basically what's going on. So we can turn that off for a minute. They'll put us at a deficit on our food. But that does give me enough of workers to unscuff things. That brings it back up. You bring it back down. What kind of pirate outfit are you running if you don't have any rum? Why is the rum gone? Because we haven't learned how to make it. Alright, so we got another deed done. So we have a fleet of 2 ships. And so we can build a crow's nest. Or a mast.
No challenge is too great.
I think one more down there will get us the next thing. So build 10 masts. Get a level 2 ship. Ambush merchant ships, that kind of thing. Yeah, so a mast. Okay, it's not as tall as I was hoping it'd be. But that's fine. So what we can do here is change you back to you.
The legends are true.
Because you've got a better boarding skill. What's your problem now? So as soon as they're there, let's see, the one where Unrest brews as the pirates' basic needs are dwindling. Their patience wears thin, and if we don't act quickly, it'll spiral out of control. We'll tend to this at once. Appease them with coin to buy some time. Set aside for now. We were already fixing it, so that's fine. Yeah, so we get 12 minutes to fix it, and we have to have it going for 60 seconds. That's not a problem.
Of course.
Okay.
Always forward.
Okay, they should slowly stock up the ammo again. We're gonna have them go out here. So we're kind of running up into a limit on crew. It does seem like crew is a fairly precious resource. Whereas money hasn't been nearly as hard to come by, and then like your stone, your wood, your stew, your booze, all that is very easy. Astley will be is willing to lend you any of his Disney movies except one. He will never give you up. That's pretty terrible.
Ready for action.
This place has the sweet smell of treasure about it. Let's spread out and get our bearings.
All right. Here be dragons. We will lose 1 to 2 supplies, and we will take 1 to 2 damage to our crew. We need to gain 10 charts. So we can go ahead and we'll do this one. So prevent the damage to our crew and gain 7 to 8 charts. We'll take 1 to 2 damage to our crew. We're just going to go ahead and do that same thing again.
We've got company. They must be guarding the treasure. Too bad. What's theirs is ours now.
Reduce the enemy crew by 50%. So we're going to do 3 to 4 damage to our crew. So I'm going to just try and prevent it. So we did that. So the opponent's going to gain an extra dice roll next turn. They have 16 crews, so we can't just hammer them down all at once. I will also give myself an extra dice roll. So they're going to deal 2 to 7 damage, and take double damage on themselves. We're going to prevent the damage as our goal. Okay, we came out without taking any damage. They're going to do 2 or 3 damage, and they're going to take double damage. So I think the reality here is I am going to have to accept we're taking some level of damage. If I keep trading back and forth, they don't seem to have a supply cost. So...
We sent them running. They were guarding this cave. Torches out, and in we go.
So we lost 3 crew. Let's see. Rotten rations, so we'll take 1 to 2 damage on our crew. It'll prevent that. We'll lose 1 or 2 damage to our supplies. So we can just prevent that as well. And we're almost out of supplies.
Now that's a solid haul. Grab what you can, me hearties. Let's bring this plunder back to our ship.
Okay, so our outcome is we lost 3 crew. We gained 17 supplies. We gained a little cohesion and 50 drifters.
Fearless. Our haven calls.
So getting a bump of 50 drifters should help out a great deal. Then we can replace the missing crew and all that kind of stuff. Your previous message got caught up with a game event. It was related to your previous message. Let's see. You're still good chili. You just like making your chili a specific way with specific meat types. Yeah, no, I can see that. Let's see. The one where a vegan will always tell you they're a vegan, even if you don't care. It's in his username. Ah. Like people do CrossFit. You can't not be informed that they do CrossFit. It has to happen. So we plundered a treasure. And so we've already got our aerial lift, the trading post. Place the stereotype message. Gotcha. So that would let me get the Reaver and the Rope Maker. So I've got that twine over here. Upgrade to trade pier. Yeah, so you get some rope and I'd be able to upgrade the ships. Alright, so once you dock... Okay, so turn that back on. Turn back that back on. So that fixes our food. As far as housing goes, we are 9 housing short. So we can go here, do this. Oh, right, these only give 2. Us in there's like, oh, right, it takes a lot. So 2, 4. 6, 8, 10. And you're 5 short. One, 2, 3. And you are 1 short. Cool, it already linked up on its own. So then as we get rope in stock, which now has appeared up here, I can upgrade my ships. And we also have enough here. So manage crew. Got ourselves some swabbies. Manage crew.
You can count on me.
We'll have our explorer on here. Oh, we must have a tavern nearby. I see. Then go over here.
Give the word.
Why are you not producing more? Oh, you're just waiting for materials? Okay. Because we're going to get a bunch more crew on here. We might upgrade our ships, and they could potentially take more crew. Not getting any alerts about any of our houses or any of our camps being in bad shape. It also makes me wonder as the game goes on and you start getting like your better houses and like how you're figuring out how to rearrange this with all these paths. I can definitely see it being a thing you might build up an area that you develop here to get rid of your old lower level area. That's gonna be a whole mess. Manage crew. Alright, so with this, I have things we need. Okay, so you need booze. Which means we must produce more booze. Remember where that happens. Yeah, that should help with the booze. Why am I not getting more rope? You've got the workers here. Oh, you've got nowhere to store it. That'd do it, wouldn't it? There we go. That should unstick that. You played this on Next Fest? Yep. It is going in 1.0 full release immediately on its thing. I believe it releases on the 31st. Hooded Horse is the publisher, and we've interacted with them a number of times, and they were kind enough to give me a key. Today was when the embargo got lifted that is allowed to play it on stream and everything. So I am. Alright, so we're now getting our rope again. And I do feel like we definitely want to upgrade this ship. Because they were kind of hitting the limits of what the other ships could do. Alright. Okay, so we're upgrading both of our ships. Now, what I'm not sure of is if you have your ships team up or if it's one-on-one. I'm assuming it's a one-on-one kind of situation. Just by the nature of how this works, and it's doing its dice rolls and all that kind of stuff. Having multiple ships, I think, would really weird out the balance of that. We can figure it out. Okay, so we're now getting plenty... Oh, that's because, for the moment, the crew is not at their ships.
Well, what do you say to this one, Teach?
Still too small for my taste, but it'll do against a Mara.
Okay, we now have a Buccaneer Grill, Sugarcane, Cooper Distillery. Alright. Okay. Alright, I'm sure that's going to cause all sorts of grief, and then we got ourselves an RD done.
That was a nice adventure.
Gotcha, so we can also make the Tide Hunter. Okay.
That's what I like to hear.
So I have a crew limit of 20. So we can get plunderers, and the plunderers require rum. Sorry, not plunderers, it wasn't plunder. What was that?
My blade itches.
Oh, picaroons. So we're getting our rum online. We just got a thing for have a total output of 100 stew.
Raise your cups.
And we now have access to the Prowler. Okay. You know your general stance on mods, but have you ever modded maps like Farm Sim? Yeah. No, I've done modded maps in Farm Sim. I also grab all the official mods for Farm Sim as well. Yeah, it's not that I'm like hard on I will not do any mods. Usually the mods are like... Have I done the Pioneer Valley? I have not. I actually don't know that one. Okay, so you're upset. Why? You need more housing. Okay. And it's crossplay. Oh. It has been crop and production types? Oh well, there's the new coming DLC is bringing in beans as well. Like it's bringing coffee and a whole bunch of stuff. He has new crop types. Yeah. There's a bunch of mods that do that. Some of them work pretty well. Some of them are pretty rough. All right, so we are starting to get the rum. So if we check our warehouse here, now I have the rum putting into storage. Okay.
You can count on me.
I'm pretty sure I just... Okay. So we need to just give a minute for the rum to show up. And I suspect to have two fully loaded ships of them. I probably... Okay, and what are you upset about? Because we don't have a place for you to get your drinks. Oh, that's right. Where's our tavern in here? Need to get you situated. And you situated. Sailors and scoundrels and deserters all arrive. We can get a bunch of additional people at the cost of some cohesion and everything. In this particular case, I'm going to send them away. Because I'm trying to get the cohesion to be up, because we're about at half, and if we hit 0, it's just game over instantaneously from what it's implying. Or if not instantaneous, it creates a crisis that can lead to a game over very quickly. What was that sound about? You made a loud, concerning sound. And I have no idea where it came from. You can't do good chili without beans? Yep. This hell drip leak word to your mother. You like the multi-purpose systems, changing systems, Farm Sim 25. Would prefer they be self-drivable. Okay, cool. So we did start getting the Roman stock. Okay, well I've made mistakes. So you make 2.6. And then the rum production consumes it's honestly hard to tell. So it looks like I might just need more sugarcane.
Fearless.
I think that's what the sound I'm hearing is basically be like warning you pissed your people off. Or you are not meeting their need for rum. How dare you, sir and or madam? Not really a good way to connect it there. Okay, that'll help that. Because I need more rum. Alright, so we got 10 minutes to get the rum sorted. Or we lose a bunch of cohesion. Let's see, fruit pie would go down really nicely. You like to improperly mix all the hip slangs? That's why you love the runner sets, even if you don't come with trucks. You generally modded trucks. You just like the trailers for IT runner. Because the unloading, the skip or whatever, it becomes a secondary pivot, making positioning pretty difficult. Yeah. Grab from anywhere and anywhere you can get the rum, man. Your problem is housing. We can deal with that easy enough. I need to increase rum production. So as much as I want to get like the better troops and all that, it looks like I really can't afford them. Okay, it looks like we've got the crisis avoided. We just gotta wait for it to finish on that. Nope, never mind. It dropped off again. Transportation is too slow. Oh, well, that cost me a whole bunch of money. Plan had been to bring that over there and down there. In the meantime, what we could do to kind of improve our efficiency a little bit. Okay, well, hopefully that'll speed up the rate they can move between them. I'll speed up the rate we can move to the bar as well. So, not feeling encouraged about this. Alright, so we've temporarily prevented the crisis again. But, only if it stays good for 60 seconds. If it stays good for 60 seconds, we clear the unrest. Okay, unrest cleared. So, promise I would love to get the other ship loaded up. But, in this case, we're not making that happen. So, we've got our crew limit. This is a Reaver, which is what it's suggesting to go down to the Remain in the Jungle. The Prowler is not well suited for that. That's not suited to that. Yeah, so it looks like we'll be okay for the Raven in the Jungle.
My. That inhospitable rock has some new occupants, and wealthy ones at that. Call me Raven. I have a proposal for you. My associates and I are looking for a trinket of not insignificant value. You help me recover it, and in return I get you in touch with some very wealthy people.
The man reeks of greed and betrayal. I love it. Let's help him and squeeze him for coin afterwards.
Alright. So I've got you going down here. I do think we'll finish out this objective. And then after this objective, maybe we go and check out the next kind of game on the list of things that we're looking to try. And the reason for that is, like I said before, this is the kind of game that I think you can have a lot of fun off-stream playing. But there is a lot of the game where it's kind of like, okay, I'm waiting for the thing to happen. Which is fine.
Ready for action.
You've kept me waiting. Now into the jungle. There is a certain village we must find.
Okay, Deep Thicket. It'll deal 1 damage to supplies for every 100 meters. We have 3,000 meters we need to go. So what we want to do is... we can gain some straight-up treasure and get a better roll next turn. What is the other thing it's giving me? Supplies. Alright, so it'll take health damage 11 to 14. so we can make haste, and we have about the same chance of winning, but we have an extra dice roll. Alright. Deal 1 damage to supplies for every 100 meters. So we don't want to push right now. Give ourselves an extra dice roll. And this turn, we could just go for it. We need 1,000 meters. So, for this, and we couldn't be greedy and go for more dice rolls and all that. Let's go ahead and tread carefully. That should... Actually, wait, we don't need to do that. We can just make haste. Make haste would guarantee our completion. And just cost me 2 supplies.
This is it. There is a cave at the back of the village. Distract the villagers so we can get inside.
So choose carefully. So this one doesn't tell us what our actual objective is. We can do cheap trickery, reduce all opponent stats by 2. Elaborate scheme, reduce all opponent stats by 1 to 6. Grand plan, reduce opponent's stats by 2 to 12. Or use a calming voice, which would reduce opponent's speed by a tremendous amount. And the problem we have here is these are dramatically expensive on our supply end. When we switch to the support roles, that just gives us supplies. Alright, I'm going to do the calming voice, because I imagine we're running after this.
Ah, not what you expected, is it, huh? Search the wreck for my trinket before the villagers catch on.
Alright, so we can gain hints. So we're going to take damage to the crew. We can go with the captain's theory. We can lose 1 to 4 supplies. So we'll prevent the supply damage. I've got 2 supplies left. So I'm curious what happens when I hit negative supplies. So we're going to prevent the crew damage and finish this out.
We found it. A coin with the mark of the Golden City, finally. Now let's make a run for it.
Okay, we did lose a crew member. We used up all of our supplies. We got a tiny bit of supplies back. And then we did get a...
That is exactly what I've been looking for. I must take this back to the Golden Chain immediately. You see, they are the wealthiest smuggling guild around, and their latest pursuit is said to make us all unfathomably rich. Similar ambitions to your own, I imagine. If you want in, just mention my name around Port Concordat.
Alright, we have assisted Raven, who is working with the smugglers of the Golden Chain. According to them, immeasurable wealth can be found in these parts. We could join them in their hunt, and when the time comes right, take it all for ourselves.
So,
Alright, so we have our new deed.
Remember this day.
Okay, so we can fire feast, improve our campfire production. We can do a classy banner. For every banner, we have an increased cohesion capacity by 4. A carburet. Gain 10 gold every time new drifters join. A statue. For every statue, we gain an additional 3 drifters every time a ship arrives with recruits. A classy cabin. Getting more comfortable, so we get better housing. For right now, that doesn't cost me anything, and it'll save me pain.
Golden Chain is still around. Excellent. An allegiance with them can only profit us both.
Last I recall, they wanted you quartered for stealing a fortune in saffron.
Ancient history, I assure you. Besides, They knew I have a weakness for smuggled spices.
All right. Okay, so we open our journal now. We did complete our first objective, because this is supposedly like the path of victory is once you complete all 5 events for one. And my assumption of how this will work in practice is that like each time you work on a tier, you're going to get more unlocks that take you farther and all that kind of stuff. And then you can like finish out the game. Like I'm assuming like each path of victory will have like a different way the story plays out. Yeah, so like to give you an idea, the next objective we have for the Raven one is he wants us to have a boarding damage of 34. We actually have 31. A maneuverability of 6, we have 4, and an armor of 14, and we have 10. So we miss literally every stat they want, but not by all that much. Versus most of the other ones, I'm only missing like usually 1 stat. And then this one is you also have like a main story as well, the Tides of Fate. So it kind of looks like you've got a main story that is progressed by the side stories. And then you like once you've gotten your mark there. But it is interesting like how significant the tree here is. Which is a resurrects lost crew in 7 Seas event as long as the ship survives. Ultimate flag maker. Oh, we have like provisioners and all that. Yeah, so you get a bunch of stuff. So the thing that I'm curious about... Yeah, so each direction gives us different stuff, which one would expect. But yeah, so it is one of those things that we get a lot of really good stuff in this. So I'm really liking this. I like that this is a very different, like, city builder of sorts. So I mentioned earlier that in a lot of the modern city builders, whether it's, you know, Frostpunk or a bunch of these ones that are post-apocalyptic worlds or like some of the Anno, well, not Anno, but a lot of these ones, they've kind of taken on this mechanic of there's the larger world, because our old city builders in the past, you lived in your little isolation in your little box and you couldn't kind of pop out of it. And people are like, oh, you just have a resource you expend to send people out, and maybe not, you get a resource back. You can tie story to it and all that. So that's become a common practice. I think this one's doing it pretty well in that they didn't just have the normal, I have workers or explorers or whatever you want to call them, and then there's a timer, and then, you know, you roll the dice and you get an outcome. This one, there is dice rolls, but it's actually like a turn-based, almost combat thing, even though, you know, some of it is, I'm going through brush in the jungle. There's not really an enemy of sorts. I'm dealing with the elements and all that. And that you have, like, your crew, your ship's health, and you have, like, your supplies down here. So that's basically how many turns you can take. And then you can exchange health for supplies, but it's costly and all that. And so I do think they do a really good job of having that as a whole separate game within your game. So that's been pretty good. But I'm very much enjoying this. So, what we're probably going to go ahead and do for here is we're not quite to the halfway point through stream. I do think I'm going to quickly check. This should be available right now. It's probably one of those things that won't update Steam that this is available until there, because there's Go-Go Town should be available in its 1.0 as another thing we can do. There's the K-pop idol stories, which is the one I'm like, okay, it's very different, and I keep joking about playing it, and I am waffling hard because it's very, very unusual content for the channel. What's going to happen for those who are watching over on YouTube, the stream's going to come down for a minute as we get ready to switch games and all that. But I have enjoyed this. It is published by Hooded Horse. So there's no Gen AI or anything. For those who don't know, Hooded Horse came out that says, hey, in our contracts, it literally says you are not allowed to use Gen AI in the production of the game. And if you do, it is a breach of the contract. And, you know, you don't want to do that with your publisher because that can get you in serious, like, financial and legal trouble. And so, like, they're very explicitly like, hey, there is no Gen AI and all that stuff, which I appreciate. We also have Fog Piercers, another one you could potentially check out today. So bear with me because I need to use the restroom. So I'm going to wrap this thing up, use the restroom, And during that time, I'm going to see if like I can grab Go-Go Town and whatever. We also have Fog Piercer. There's a bunch of games that all dropped today. So give me a minute, and we'll get all that set up. And thank you again for tuning in. I'll be right back.